Hello and welcome back to the Limited Adhesion USF2000 League. We're here for round 5 of 8 at Watkins Glen. My name's Mark and joining me in the commentary booth today is Steve. How you doing, Steve?
I'm great, thanks Mark. Yeah, it's lovely to be here at Watkins Glen. Fast flowing track, loads of places to overtake, and I think the drivers have a lot of fun here.
Yeah, it is an absolutely fantastic track. And Steve, why don't you take us through the championship standings?
Yeah, currently at the moment we've got Tomer Larin way out front with 178 points. We've got followed by Gavin Kelly, Dano Hammond, Winslade, Pusey, Hugavin, Forrester, Bright, Schooling, Costa in the top 10, Nicola Lee in 11th, Tyburn, Olive, Chalcroft, Erin Jenkins, James Pepper, and two below him.
Yes, and I think it's very much going to be a fight for second. Juha looks like he's got this well and truly wrapped up already.
Yeah,
it looks like we're going to have a very close fight for second. We've had, 5 or 6 drivers all within a few points of each other, Steve?
We have, yeah. The podiums have been shared out quite, apart from obviously the first places, it's quite liberal. Watkins Glen practice, Tomer Larin, 2/10 of a second quicker than Gavin Kelly there. He's out front again.
Indeed. Worth saying a big hello to a couple of new drivers. We've got Juha, Manninen and Access Experience joining the Limited Adhesion today. And also welcome back to Stephen McCann. It's his first race in the USF2000, but obviously he's been involved in the Limited Adhesion for quite a while. Steve, why don't you take us through the order as they sit on the grid?
Yeah, pole position, Tomer Larin, followed by
Surprise.
Exactly. Followed by Hugavin, Gavin Kelly, Dano Hammond in 4th, Ben Chalcroft 5th, Kenneth Olive in 6th, Chris Forrest 7th, Juha Manninen in 8th, Access Experience in 9th, Costa in 10th, Gareth Winslade 11th, Stephen McCann 12th, and Keith Schooling bringing up the rear in 13th.
Lovely, thanks a lot, Steve. And again, with such a gap, Tomer Larin had half a second on the rest of the field. You get a sense of, let's be honest, he's won this one already. Who's gonna be the best of the rest in second?
I think that's fairly much it. But having said that, there are drivers in this group that can challenge Tour for every inch of the track. So it's going to be a good race, and it's nice to see the USF is growing as well in numbers.
Indeed it is, Steve. It's worth pointing out that Tomer Larin has won every single first round. So, yeah, we have 2 races at each track, and Tomer Larin has won the first race at every track, as we are racing at Watkins Glen. Larin, understandably, straight into the lead, holding off from Hugavin, who shared the front row with Larin. Kelly also quite close behind. He's going to look to tuck into the slipstream, and as we see them successfully navigating the S's for the first time here, we've seen quite a few incidents on opening laps in previous years, as several drivers like to go Glen pin bowling here at the Watkins. As we see Hugavin straight past Larin and into the lead. Will he keep it as they go through the bus stop? And I believe he has, Steve. Oh, Larin's spinning out. He just hit that curb slightly too... Oh, dear. As we see... Oh, gosh, there's carnage. Kelly managed to salvage second in all of that. I saw so many spinners in all of that, Steve. What did you make of that?
Yeah, that bus stop is always a killer for cars that they just missed the braking point, or they just looked like a bit of a touch at the back for Larin, and it just turned him round, which caused 2 or 3 cars at the rear of them to maybe misjudge their braking point, take their eyes off the road for a second, and all hell breaks loose.
Exactly. So I think we had Ben Chalcroft, Kenneth Olive as well, who sort of spun in sympathy trying to avoid Larin. As we see, Experience, Winslade and Costa have all absolutely stormed up the order, as they just managed to keep it on the road and keep it facing the right way. As we see Larin again going very wide. I'm not sure if he's had some damage to that. I don't think he hit the wall, Steve, but yeah, maybe something's not right with that car.
I don't think he may have hit the wall actually on the inside.
He could well have done, yeah, as we see those 2 spinners in the background. We saw someone in the wall there as well. Oh, it was Kelly went into the back of Mallaren. That's what happened.
Yeah, so the chances are that he's going to have rear damage on the on his rear wing. So maybe that's the problem.
Oh, that was so close. I didn't see who that was. I think that might have been Costa who narrowly avoided Mallaren. So you see, Ben Chalcroft thought he was going wide, but just got tagged from behind as he was making avoiding action.
Yeah,
That's
I think
a
Ben
shame.
was unlucky there. He was trying to take avoiding action and just got clipped.
Yeah, Dano Hammond there, as we saw on board, just nowhere to go really. And here on board with Forrester, who's getting very out of shape and into the wall. Oh dear, I don't think he was going to make that corner in a million years, Steve.
No,
See, more carnage there.
Through the bus stop, those inside curbs are very unforgiving.
Yeah, Winslade we see doing the very sensible thing and not even attempting to make the corner, just taking to the runoff.
Yeah, an old head on young shoulders there.
Indeed. So we see Kelly now keeping in third, who had experience up to second from, I think, 8th or 9th on the grid. So that's a brilliant run from him. But you see, Hoogervin's already got a 5-second lead, Steve. This is incredible.
Yeah, well, once again, he was out front and he didn't get messed up in that the carnage behind him, and he scampered away.
Indeed, as we see Manninen just going to the inside, trying to get past Costa. And I think he might have done it as they go on the run down to the penultimate corner on the track. You see now 4 cars all jockeying for position there, but Manninen's got the place up to 5th. As you can see behind Costa, Olive and Chalcroft. Olive and Chalcroft trying to recover from that first lap incident. As we see Chalcroft just looking to the inside, is he going to be late on the brakes? No, he's going to think better of it, live to fight another day.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a huge advantage with the toe if you're behind on coming into this straight here. So it'll be interesting to see if you can actually get away and break the toe before everybody starts catching him again.
Definitely is. Just talking about that toe, we had Chalcroft then right in the back of Olive's slipstream, as we see Winslade now right on the back of Experience. Sorry, no, that's Hoogervin right on the back of... Is that Wins? I'm not sure who that was.
Yeah, I think it looks like, from what you can see there, is Costa in the front, but obviously Winslade's got in front of Kelly, and the Experience is still in second. He's 1.4 seconds up the road from Gareth Winslade, and Kelly right behind Winslade there, tucked up behind his rear wing.
So, exactly, so I'm not sure what happened to Kelly then, because I was just about to say Kelly was just behind Experience. And that certainly wasn't Experience, but yeah. I think you're right, Steve. Something must have happened to Kelly, because he's dropped behind Winslade now.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get a replay of what incident took place.
As we see this battle, Olive and Chalcroft and Schooling both going very wide. See, so there's Experience up in second. Hoogervin's just checked out. He's well down the road.
5 seconds he's gone into.
He is. As we see Kelly into the pits. So, yeah, I'm thinking about it. Kelly was the one that rear-ended Mallaren on the first lap. So maybe Kelly didn't actually have an incident. He's just suffered a bit of front wing damage and is losing a bit of pace.
Possibly. I mean, if he's lost front end downforce, well, it could have been, impacted and he's gone straight on or something.
Indeed. So Hoogervin, 5.5 seconds ahead of Experience and Winslade, who's then have a 5-second gap to Manninen. Mallaren, I just saw cross the line to do the fastest lap of the race. So he's quite a long way back, but yeah. Is it too soon to say that he's out of this race, Steve?
I think it's always too soon to say you're out of a race. There's always something. It could be a back marker that gets in the way. It could be a misunderstanding of the track or something, or just a misbraking point, something to take your eye off the track and whatever you make a mistake. So even though it's 5 seconds down the road, I still think there could be a bit of a twist to the race.
As we see, there's Juha Mallaren sweeping around the outside of Schooling through the corner that on my track map is referred to as the chute. I've also seen it referred to as the laces, and if you're running the NASCAR track, I've seen it referred to as wildly off track. As we see, Olive now hounding the back of Roberto Costa for 5th. Obviously, these guys have all been promoted from Kelly pitting. So Manninen's been promoted up to 4th, Costa in 5th, Olive, as we watch on board, well not on board, as we watch Olive in 6th.
Yeah, it's a strong showing from both experience and Olive.
Yes, certainly. And in fact, experience is starting to come back a little bit at Hoogeveen. Brought the gap down to 5.2 seconds now.
Yeah, he's also pulling a slight gap on Winslade as well.
He is, yes. As we see, Kelly just going to the inside of Schooling. Schooling, I think, got a little bit too late on the brakes. As we see Costa versus Olive. And I think Olive got that move done. Very well done to him.
Yeah, nice pass.
Yeah, it just goes to show that slipstream down through the S's is so powerful.
I mean, not only has he passed him through the bus stop as well, he's cleared off. I mean, he's already a second clear after the pass.
He is indeed. Very well done. I wonder if Costa might have just gotten sort of slightly offline, just maybe missed his braking zone or something, just dropped a bit of time through that bus stop and through the outer loop. As we see, here is Kelly after that earlier pit stop. He's down to 11th, so yeah, he will hopefully start making his way through the field a bit, because he's certainly got some decent pace.
Yeah, be able to make a recovery to at least the reverse grid, which is 8th.
Indeed, always good to remember that magical 8th place reverse grid. You see Dano Hammond now just outside that top 8 position. He's in 9th, just a second behind Schooling. Schooling now with, 6 laps remaining. He's going to want to try and hold on for dear life to that 8th place position. But I think Dano Hammond will have other ideas. And so will Ben Chalcroft, just behind those two, again involved in that first lap incident.
Yeah, I think these three are going to have to work together to try and keep away from Gavin Kelly as well.
Yes, as we see both Hammond and Chalcroft both diving to the inside into the final corner. Oh gosh, I feel for Schooling a little bit there. He sort of didn't want to make the apex. Dano Hammond sort of dive-bombed him a little bit, and then Chalcroft just followed him through. That was a brilliant opportunistic move, Steve.
Fantastic, yeah, really clever. I just noticed as well that Mallaren has just put the fastest lap 146, I think it was 146.7, so he's steaming on as well.
Indeed. And Mallaren now only 12 seconds back from Costa. That was 15 seconds or so, about a lap or so ago. So yeah, certainly not over yet, as we see Dano Hammond just having to defend the inside from Chalcroft. He obviously does not want to give up that 8th place position. He's a good 11 seconds or so back from the next place driver. So yeah, Hammond and Chalcroft look like they are going to be fighting over that 8th place. Don't know how much further forwards they're going to be able to do with only 6 laps left, but as we see, Experience now really defending from Winslade, who's cut that gap down to just 0.3 of a second as they come up to the final corner. The gap to Hoogeveen has steadied somewhat at about 5.3, 5.4 seconds. As we see, will Winslade be happy with a podium, or will he want to get that magical 2nd place?
I think he'll be moving for the 2nd place at the moment, because he's right behind him and he's coming up to the fastest part of the track.
I think so too. Winslade with a nice slipstream there. I'll want to stay in the slipstream for as long as possible. Will Experience defend the inside? No, he won't. Winslade goes for the inside line. Now it's a drag race down to the bus stop. Who'll be late on the brakes? Who'll be the bravest? I think Winslade's got the move done. He's still on the inside. Yeah, Winslade's got that move. And up to 2nd place. Absolutely textbook move.
Yeah, very
exactly.
Much. Yeah. And Mallaren with another fastest lap, 146.1.
Blimey, man is on a mission. As we see Winslade in that, as they were battling, just dropped a few tenths of a second to Hoogeveen. Winslade will now just want to get his head down and concentrate as we see Hammond and Chalcroft fighting. Will Chalcroft get that move done around the outside? They go too wide through the bus stop. This is absolutely amazing. So much trust between these drivers. I have to admit, that's one thing that struck me about this series in general. Apart from the first lap incident, and apart from the, instant-packed monstrosity that was last time out at USA International, this series has generally been very clean and very trusting between the drivers.
Yeah, very respectful racing.
Yeah, as we see, Kelly's now joined that fight for 8th place. Which one of these drivers will get that reverse grid pole? As we see, just coming through the boot section now.
Kelly's closed right in on now.
He has. Hammond still in 8th place from Chalcroft from Kelly. All three of them separated by a second. In fact, less than a second even.
Coming round to that, obviously the fastest part of the track again, so the toe's going to be massive down that back straight.
Exactly, and Chalcroft in such an awkward position now. He's going to want to try and be attacking Hammond in front whilst simultaneously keeping an eye on the mirrors as he got a charging Kelly behind him in that wonderful Wizards livery. He won't know where to look, Steve.
Not at all. That's the hardest part of the race, where you got somebody attacking you and you're trying to attack somebody else. You just don't know which way to look.
Exactly, and as we see, Hammond sticks to the inside. Chalcroft, will he make this move stick around the outside? For the second time he tries it, he backs out of it. He thinks he wants to survive, but then he's opened the door a little bit while Kelly make a move. He's having a little look, but I don't think he's alongside enough to make that move stick as they come back down into the chute/laces corner. Yeah, Chalcroft's got that position covered, but that's letting Hammond just walk away a little bit. Gap's now to 6-7 tenths. Chalcroft, won't want to let himself fall out of slipstream range. That'll be absolutely game over.
Yeah, definitely. Once you've backed off, or once you've fallen off the back of the car and it's giving that protection of the toe down the back straight, you're a sitting duck.
Certainly. As we see, Manninen now only 8 seconds off the back of Costa. He's got, 3-4 laps left. It's a tall ask, but it might still be possible, Steve.
Possible. I mean, he's 4.5 seconds behind Costa now, so with a couple of laps left, unless he's doing, 2 seconds faster laps, I think he's have to settle for 7th and then look at the reverse grid and take it from there.
Yes, he might well be doing that. As we see now, Kelly to the inside of Chalcroft. He's laying on the brakes, side by side into the first corner. I thought he would have had that move done, Steve, but no! Chalcroft with an absolutely storming exit out that corner. He stayed ahead, but of course now Kelly's in the slipstream, down to the bus stop. Which way will Chalcroft go? Which way will Kelly go? Chalcroft stays to the inside, Kelly to the outside. I don't think Kelly's going to be able to make that move stick around the outside, but he dives to the inside. He's not quite close enough to make that work, and of course he's going to always have in the back of his mind that that's where he had that first lap incident with Manninen. So yeah, Kelly just backing out of it.
Yeah. I actually thought that Kelly had made a good move there, because he sort of like, he seemed to back off slightly and then wait for the slipstream for the back straight, but it seemed to be that he'd lost a little bit of momentum and couldn't quite get it by the time he got to the bus stop.
Yeah, I thought he had that move done as well, but not quite. He's just thinking better of it. The order remains Hammond from Chalcroft from Kelly. Of course, Kelly's going to want to get that move done relatively quickly because, of course, it's not enough to get past Chalcroft. He's got to get past Hammond to get that reverse grid position, and he's starting to run out of time.
That's it. You've just got a couple of laps left.
Yes, indeed. As you see, looking up at the front, Hugvin still with that 6.2 second gap from Winslade. Experience still hanging in there, but just dropped off the back slightly. As we see, Kelly's just dropped back a couple of tenths from Chalcroft. Oh, Chalcroft very wide, and I think he might have clipped the wall. That's going to open things up for Kelly, and yeah, Kelly straight past him.
It'll be
Will he get
interesting
the
to
move
see
done
now
into
if.
turn 1 this time?
My apologies. It'd be interesting to see if Chalcroft can stay on the back of Kelly.
Yeah,
Hopefully there's no damage.
Kelly straight past, and I'm not quite sure if that was damage for Chalcroft or whether that was just him getting out the throttle to try and minimise the impact of the wall. But either way, yeah, it'll be very interesting to see if Chalcroft is out of this race or whether he can continue.
This is a fantastic view when you got cockpit. It's brilliant.
It really is. As we see there, Chalcroft, he looks like he's struggling with that car, Steve. He looks like it just wasn't turning as much as he wanted it to. So
no, he could have a slight amount of damage on the steering or the rear wheel.
yeah, I mean, I think certainly it's not major damage. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he's got enough pace to stay in that battle. As we see Manninen, number 1 on his car as the reigning Formula 3 champion. Now 6.3 seconds ahead of Winslade, just taking it nice and steady. We've barely seen anything of him, to be honest, Steve. He's just driven an absolutely flawless race.
Yeah, it's just been one of those races where he missed the chicane or the bus stop with everything that went on there, and he's just put his head down. He's just away. He's gone. Nobody can touch him.
Indeed, and yeah, that absolute sterling performance there from Hoogeveen. As we see now, Kelly right on the back of Hammond now. He's running out of laps. He'll have this one and one more, and this is really the perfect overtaking opportunity. Is he close enough to get past Hammond on the run down to the bus stop? It's gonna be tight. I don't know if he's close enough. He'll probably have a bit of a sniff to the inside. But no, Hammond's firmly defending the inside. He's saying, no mate, if you want this position, you're going the long way round. And yeah, we see Dano Hammond keeps that position on the inside. As we see, yeah, Chalcroft just looking to the outside. He's not out of this yet.
No,
he's only a tenth behind Kelly.
Yeah.
And in fact, Kelly had a very poor run, and it looked like Chalcroft was trying to attack down through the chutes. We see Manninen now right in the back of Experience. Experience seems to have dropped a couple of seconds back to Winslade.
Two new drivers once again up in the top 4, battling for the podium. It's great to see.
Indeed, and these two drivers started, I think, 8th and 9th on the grid, if memory serves me correctly. So yeah, nice to see them charging through and making quite a bit of progress. As we see, the white flag is out for these drivers. We see Manninen and Experience. One final lap. Will Manninen be able to grab that podium on debut? It looks like Experience was really out of shape coming out of the first corner. That's going to leave him very vulnerable down to through the S's and down to the bus stop. As we see there, a shot of Hoogeveen in first place. And yeah, here's that fight. Manninen trying to the outside. Experience rigidly sticking to the inside. And he's saying, nope, no way through for you. As the order remains Experience from Manninen.
And looking at the timing sheets, it looks as though Hammond is keeping Kelly at bay as well.
It is indeed. Manninen trying this way, that way, every way to try and get past Experience, but just no way through. Coming through the boot section now, he dives to the inside, but no, just not late enough on the brakes. And I think I saw a little bit of a tyre lock up there. He's really pushing, giving it absolutely everything. As we see Hammond, Chalcroft and Kelly. It looks like Kelly's gotten a bit out of shape there. As we see Chalcroft get past, and that will pretty much have put the final nail in the coffin for Kelly's bid for that reverse grid position. As we see...
Go on, sorry.
As we see Hoogeveen rounding out the final corner of the final lap to take the win, the only man other than Manninen to win an opening heat of one of these USF2000 double heat races. Winslade on the podium again in second, as we see Experience just holds Manninen off for third.
Yeah, great race, fantastic result, especially for the newcomers to the USF. Yeah, brilliant racing.
tell you what, Steve, we were looking at Mallaren 7.5 seconds back with, what, 3 or 4 laps to go? He was only 6/10 behind Costa at the end. What an outstanding recovery for him.
And what does that mean? It means he's on the front row for the second race.
It does indeed. So,
brilliant recovery.
An absolutely amazing recovery. And just a quick bit of mental maths. I think that is the first time that Mallaren has ever failed to win from the front row. So
that's right. Yeah, I would say that's right.
Yeah, so we'll see if he can make that the only time he ever fails to convert a front row to a win, as he lines up on the front row for the second heat, the reverse grid race. As we see, there they are. So we've got Mallaren and Hammond on the front row.
Yeah, fingers crossed they can keep it clean through the bus stop this time and everybody get through safely.
Fingers crossed, yeah. Although, having said that, stereotypically, it's always the S's on the first lap that give a bit of drama. Of course, we had, I think, in the Formula 3 a couple of seasons ago, we had an absolute carnage on the first lap through the S's. And then, yeah, a few races ago in the GT3 League, Dan Shaw making an absolute dog's dinner of that S's section and took out most of the field.
I think he's done that two seasons on the trot into turn 1.
Exactly, as we see, we are racing once again at Watkins Glen. Dano Hammond stays in first. As we see, Mallaren now still right on his tail. He's not letting that position go. As we see, I feel like they all made it through the first corner relatively okay. Winslade, I think he might have started from the pits, actually, because he's quite a way back. As we see, Mallaren and Hammond fighting down to the bus stop. Hammond dives to the inside, saying, "No, son, you're going around the outside if you want this place." They stay. Hammond from Mallaren, first and second, but now with a mighty gap to
cars
Hoogeveen.
Off in the back.
Yes, got absolute carnage in the back. I didn't see who that was in the wall, but I saw at least 2 cars go off into the wall. I think one of them was Chalcroft.
At least Costa and Chalcroft. Yeah, massive accident.
Indeed. We'll have to see if any of them need to pit for damage. Schooling looks like he's stationary, so he might... Oh, no, he's got going again. Yeah, so Hoogeveen would have started 8th, already up to 3rd. That's absolutely mighty first few corners for Hoogeveen. Hammond now defending from Mallaren. He's going to want to try and be saying to Mallaren, use your head, mate. Oh, as they make contact! So that's Hammond off the road. Mallaren going very slowly. Hoogeveen straight up into the lead. Blimey, it's been the Mallaren show all these first 4 rounds. Today's the Hoogeveen show. In the first lap, he's gone from 8th to 1st, already with a 2-second gap. What's happened?
Yeah, and once again, Experience and Manninen are up onto podium places.
I'm in disbelief, Steve. Just what on earth has happened?
Yeah, it seems to be one of those races where it's just unlucky. Obviously, Mallaren has been involved in 2 incidents now on the first lap, and it's put him right the way back down. It'd be interesting to see if there's any damage on his car where he has to pit for a fast repair.
Indeed, as we see Kenneth Olive trying to go to the inside of Kelly, as we see that is Manninen going rather slowly, just trying to get past Experience, but didn't make it through. Decided to back out of it. Kelly kept the position from Olive. As we see Manninen versus Experience, round 2. Experience once again holding position from Manninen. Manninen trying this way, that way. Did try to the inside through the outer loop, but didn't get the position done. Decided to follow him through the chute. Will he try to the inside through the boot section? I don't think he's close enough. In fact, he went a little bit wide, and that might open the door for Kelly.
Yeah, sorry, Mark. Experience has made a break. He's now 2 seconds clear of this little chasing pack, and they're covered by about 2.5-3 seconds as Kelly moves on up to 3rd.
Indeed, Kelly back onto the podium. we see, yeah, so Hoogeveen with that 2-second gap from experience, now a second back to Kelly. So yeah, that was a bit of drama in the first couple of laps. Where has Manninen dropped to in all this? Manninen is in 7th. So yeah, he's just at the back of this pack here. So yeah, he will look to fight his way through the field, and actually he is still close enough that he might make a decent position through this race. So let's see, Shalcroft into the wall. He wasn't the only one. That's the number 3 of Roberto Costa, also in the wall. And yeah, both of them made exactly the same mistake, I think. Both running too wide on exit and just spinning it as Schooling, tried to avoid. And yeah, just lost the car trying to avoid those two. That's unfortunate for Schooling. See what happened to Manninen. This is Manninen trying to make his way past Chris Forrester on the run down to the bus stop. He's not quite close enough to try and dive bomb into the bus stop. As we see, who was that? That was Manninen. Off, just got that bus stop slightly wrong and into the wall.
Yeah, if you hit those curbs wrong, it just turns the car. That was the incident between Hammond and Manninen, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that one's going to have to go to the stewards, because yeah, that Manninen came from a long way back, but it did look like Hammond was moving under braking. So yeah, we'll wait for the stewards' decision on that one. As we see, Olive now in 4th. About a second and a half behind Kelly, who's now closed right up to the back of experience. Manninen, in all that mayhem, is up to 5th.
Yep, 3/10 behind Olive as well.
Indeed. So, as we see, this is the fight between experience and Kelly for 2nd. And then just behind, we've got Olive, Manninen and Forrester fighting over 4th. So yeah, Manninen certainly not out of this race.
No, definitely not. I think Kelly's got the pace to pass experience. It's whether he can overhaul Hoogeveen at the same time.
Exactly, as we see Manninen now trying to make up for that first lap incident. He's just driving to the inside of Olive, and I think he's got the move done. Under braking to the inside for turn 1. Olive runs a little bit wide, and Forrester's going to try and get that position as well. He's to the inside, and I think he might have that position. Yes, he does. Now it's just a case of will Olive be able to get back into the slipstream and make another run down to the bus stop. Forrester will defend the inside quite heavily. Manninen also defending the inside. As we see, yeah, Forrester's got that position back. As we see Kelly now ahead of experience, who is ahead of Manninen now after all that mayhem. So we've got Hoogeveen out front. Kelly has got the position done, and he will now try and chase down Hoogeveen. Experience down to 3rd, Manninen up to 4th, and Manninen is already right on the back of experience, less than a second. So yeah, I think Mallarion's going to fancy his chances of a podium here. As we see, what's this replay? That's Manninen just getting a little bit sideways over that bump. So easy to do, Steve.
It is, yeah. If you misjudge the curbs in this place, it's absolutely lethal. And there's obviously Gareth Winslade doing exactly the same, but just managing to avoid the stationary car on the right hand side.
Yeah, you know what, I think he felt a little bit sorry for Manninen and thought, you know what, I'm going to do it as well, just to show you that all of the pros make mistakes as well.
Is it bring a picnic?
Indeed. As we see, this fight for 5th not over between Forrester and Olive. Olive now 4/10 back from Forrester. As we see, Manninen now only half a second back from experience. I reckon, yeah, it's just a matter of time before Manninen gets up onto that podium. And then, yeah, it's going to be a 3-way fight for the lead, I think.
I think you're right there, Mark.
As we see, there we go, experience just a little bit wide as turn 1, running over the rumble strip slightly. Manninen up to the podium positions. And so, yeah, Manninen now 1.2 seconds back from Kelly. He is going to be wanting to get that time made up relatively quickly. Manninen decided that he did need to cover the inside. So we see experience just hit that bump, and again there's another one into the wall. That
I think he managed to stop
vicious.
it before he got to the wall, Mark. Yeah, it is absolutely vicious. Yeah.
Yes, and there we go. There's the proof. Experience out of the wall. Front wing is intact. But it looks like he might drop a position to Winslade now as they go down to the chute. both drivers actually going a little bit wide and missing that apex. As we see Winslade, I thought he looked like he was going to dive to the inside, but no, thinks better of it. This, meanwhile, allowing experience to just sort of reset mentally, sort of regroup, and yeah, try and recover from that little mistake. So yeah, that curb there is so nasty. There's a car's width between the bump and the wall, as we see Winslade going to the inside and getting that position. Yeah, there's a car's width between that bump and the wall, so you have to be so precise, Steve. If you aren't quite close enough to the wall, you're going to hit that bump like we've seen. So you either need to be fully committing, right scraping the wall, or you need to go wide and miss that bump completely.
That's it, yeah, but it's important to set up the bus stop, so that first curb is so vital to getting the cars through that series of corners so quick. And like you say, if you get it wrong, the car's in the air, you lose traction, and it's anybody's guess where it's going to come down and stick, and you're either in the wall or you're flying off on the grass.
Exactly, as we saw Mallaren there making a move on Kelly through those S's and down to the bus stop. And yeah, if you notice, every car that we see, they are properly all four wheels off the track, sort of properly clipping that apex, getting as close to the wall on the inside as possible. And that is purely to avoid this bump that catches out so many drivers.
That's it. Yeah, it's a huge thing.
Yeah, it's such a mental barrier to being able to go quickly, because you've got to be closer to the wall than is comfortable. And yeah, if you're not close enough to the wall, then you hit that bump, and then, well, you can flip a coin and that'll decide which way you're going to go, because you have absolutely no control if none of the wheels are on the floor.
That's it, there's no traction if you've no wheels touching the ground.
Exactly. As we see Kelly still in touching distance of Mallaren. Mallaren himself now only 1.6 seconds back from Hugavin. So yeah, this is a proper fight for first place.
Yeah, he's closed it down to 1.5 seconds now, so he's with the fastest lap of 1:46.2.
That was 1.5 seconds quicker than Hugavin.
Yeah, I just whether Hugavin had a bit of an incident, maybe an off track or something like that.
I mean, looking at that, all of the other drivers are in the 1:47s, 1:48s. So
yeah,
actually, Hugavin's lap was pretty decent compared to the rest of the field, but just Mallaren, just in a class of his own.
Yeah, alien.
I think, you know what, he's either an alien, or I think secretly he's
Kelly
driving
off.
a different car. As we see, Kelly just getting a little bit too wide, lost the rear end, and I think he saved it from the wall, but unfortunately that's dropped him to 5th. Very good save there by Kelly, but yeah, just lost a couple of positions, and that's lost him a whole heap of time as well.
Which is what we said about the curbs. They're absolutely lethal, and of course, sliding so far on his tyres, he'll have overheated them as well.
He will, yeah, so you'll have to be very careful for the next lap or so. As we see Winslade in 6th. Ahead still of experience after both drivers had their little instance with that curb. So Kenneth Olive to the inside. Sorry, that was Forrester to the inside of Olive. And they managed to avoid contact. Forrester didn't get the move done though, so he's going to try and round the outside, but he's not far enough ahead. So yeah, Olive stays in 3rd. As we see Forrester, is he going to try another move? Oh, Olive goes very wide coming up to the final corner. That's put him slightly offline. So yeah, Forrester, if he gets a good run out of the final corner, which it looks like he did, he might have a run into turn 1, or, more crucially, he might be able to stick in the slipstream and go for a move down to the bus stop. But no, he goes to the inside, just pushes Olive slightly offline. Olive there left him room when he probably didn't need to. A little bit of mind games there from Forrester, just showing his nose where he wasn't going to make the pass. But yeah, just forced Olive offline slightly, and that's given Forrester an almighty run down to the bus stop. Olive there defending the inside. Is it going to be enough? Well, Forrester managed to go right around the outside. I think Forrester's Not quite got the move done. He thinks better of it, but oh no, they're going too wide through the bus stop. Amazing, trusting racing between these two. They're still side by side through the outer loop, Steve.
Yeah, it's fantastic, respectful racing there. I think Forrester might have the inside for this corner and take it on there.
He's certainly got the inside. No. I don't think he's going to take it though. They're still side by side. Olive,
fantastic.
Round the outside, keeping that position. Absolutely brilliant driving from this pair.
Yeah, I thought Forrester was going to just sneak down the inside and move away. But great defending by Olive.
I thought so too. And here we go. Hugavin versus Manninen. The gap now down to 0.3 of a second. Manninen's man on a mission.
Well, I think he'll be holding off in these next set of corners and onto the back straight and trying to pass him on the toe.
I think he certainly will, unless he can push Hugavin into making a mistake. Hugavin defending the inside already. You saw such a swift charge, sort of dive to the inside, but doesn't matter. Manninen's got the place, back up to the lead with a 46.1, another fastest lap of the race.
I think that was tactical. I think Hugavin's given up position to get the back straight. I think that's what that is.
It could be. That's very risky. Because with the pace that Manninen's got, I don't know. I think you could be right, Steve. Hugavin now try to repass down the straight, and he's done it. You were spot on, Steve.
Yeah, I just seen that coming. I just saw when he pulled over to the side. I think he was given position so that he could defend by going down the straight.
Let's see what happened. There we go. A replay of Gavin Kelly just getting a little bit wide. Interestingly, it wasn't the first curb that he touched that sent him a bit offline. It was the second. As we see what's happened here. As we see with another replay, and that was
dearie me.
That's a very odd one. I think car might have just bottomed out over the bumps, over the curb.
I think it did. Yeah, I think it did. It turned him on his axis, and he went. Obviously, when the wheels grip again, it's straight into the side. Very unlucky.
Yeah, that's a weird one. As we see, this fight for first is definitely not over. Hugavin retains the lead from Manninen, but Manninen just breathing down his neck. Meanwhile,
it'd be interesting to see if he does the same again.
It would be, yes. Meanwhile, these two have got over 10 seconds now back to Forrester. Tell you what, these two in identical liveries, this is giving me proper Bahrain 2014 vibes, where we saw two friends, Hamilton and Rosberg, dicing at the front of the field, just charging through. As we see yet more mind games, Manninen back through, past Hugavin.
That was definitely tactical. It's whether he's made a mistake by giving him too much time. Because he's now half a second clear now, he's Manninen.
I think you're spot on, Steve. It certainly looked to be tactical to get the run down through the S's and down the back straight. But I think Hugavin might have made a little mistake, and he's now not close enough to get that move back. So Hugavin has just shot himself in the foot a little bit there.
Yeah, it's whether now Manninen can make the break through the rest of the circuit to mitigate the toe down the back straight.
Indeed. As we see, Manninen just keeping that gap steady. 0.5 or so. As we see, Forrester and Olive look like they're just swapping positions slightly. And here we are with pictures for you. Olive now back ahead of Forrester. And Olive looks like he's defending the inside. Forrester taking a slightly wide, slightly quicker line, trying to get the power down earlier and get a better run down through the boot section. Olive there needing to defend the inside. But no, Olive has that move covered. And he stays on the podium.
And all the time that these two are fighting for this fourth and third place, we've got Winslade who's closing the gap. He's now 3.9 seconds.
He is indeed, and there you can see him right in the background. Of course, only 2 laps left. So, yeah, I'm not sure if Winslade's going to have enough time to catch up. He'll need to be quite rapid over the last couple of laps to be able to catch up. But, of course, catching is one thing. Passing is most certainly another. As See, Forrester again just diving to the inside, just trying to put Olive offline slightly. And it's worked. Forrester is through. But again, is this more mind games? Will Olive get the run down to the bus stop? As we see, that's exactly what's happened to Hoogvin, with a nice run down to the bus stop, but not quite enough. As we see Hoogvin left and right, all over the back of Mallaren, but just cannot find a way through.
No, with 2 laps left, he's got to keep right on his rear wing, so he gets to toe in the last lap to try and get past him to take the victory.
I think you're right, Steve. I think Hoogvin will want to be starting the final lap in second, but right on the back of Mallaren. And it looks like they're going to do this. That's what's going to happen. The key question is whether Mallaren is going to play Hoogvin at his own game and let Hoogvin through. Both of them running very wide there through the heel of the boot. Here we come now through the final corners. Oh, Mallaren's
both into the wall.
Hoogvin follows him. Oh dear, that's absolute tragedy. Now, will Mallaren be able to catch back?
It looks like that rear wheel's broken. I may be wrong.
Right, he's back running ahead of Olive. So, let's see. If he's got a meatball flag, then his race is over, because you are not allowed to cross the finish line with a meatball flag. You will get a penalty. So, fingers crossed for him that he will be able to take the checkered flag. But yeah, that's brought Olive and Forrester right back into play.
I hope so. I mean, it was quite a heavy hit he took on the wall as well, which I'm hoping hasn't damaged the suspension at the back.
Yes, well, of course, this is the final lap, so if he does have suspension damage, it's not the end of the world, just as long as he can finish this lap. That's going to be the important thing. And yeah, he's losing quite a bit of time to Olive, lost sort of nearly half a second already this lap. So,
yep.
As we see, Olive bouncing over the curbs there. Forrester just can't find a way through. So yeah, with half a lap to go, it looks like they're going to run out of overtaking opportunities. Olive now catching up rather quickly to Mallaren, who, yeah, I think it does have some sort of damage, Steve.
I think you're right. I mean, obviously, Hoogvin's disappeared at the sunset now. He's now 8 seconds clear almost.
Indeed. But, I mean, apart from that slight little incident at the end there, this has been an absolutely amazing couple of races, Steve. Some brilliant fighting through the fields. Action everywhere you look. And this man, Manninen Hoogvin, absolutely in a class of his own, as he takes the checkered flag to win back-to-back races. 2-time winner at Watkins Glen. He's a 3-time winner overall in the USF2000 championship. Mallaren crosses the line in second from Kenneth Olive in third, and Forrester can't quite take that place. He finishes 4th, Winslade in 5th, Experience 6th. Oh gosh, I'm out of breath after that, Steve.
Yeah, fast and furious. Great result there for the once again the new guys that have come in. It's just unfortunate to see Manninen in the pits with a lap down. But yeah, overall great racing. A credit to league racing certainly, and it's fantastic to see so many people enjoying themselves.
Yeah, I think that's it. This USF2000 league has been absolutely brilliant from start to finish. And yeah, as we see Keith Schooling crossing the line in 8th place. I cannot wait for the next round. So Steve, why don't you take us through the feature race results?
Yeah, results for the feature race was Manninen Hoogvin taking the win, followed by Tom Mallaren and Kenneth Olive bringing up the podiums. Forrester, Winslade, Experience, Dano Hammond, Keith Schooling, Chalcraft, Gavin Kelly, Roberto Costa, and bringing up the rear. 9 laps adrift was Juha Manninen.
Brilliant, thanks a lot, Steve.
So what does this do for the championship?
Well, we should get championship results on the screen in a second. There we go.
Yeah, championship standings are Tourmaline extending oh, my apologies. He's actually lost 4 points there. Yeah, Tourmaline first, Hugavin, Quinslade, Gavin Kelly, Dano Hammond, Eric Pusey, Chris Forrester, Kenneth Olive, Russell Bright and Roberto Costa in the top 10. Keith Schooling, Axis Experience, Ben Chalcroft, Nicola Lee, Tyburn, Manninen, Erin Jenkins and James Pepper in 18th with 4 points.
I think it's worth pointing out there, Steve, that Maren Hugavin has missed a round and there are two drop rounds. So yeah, Hugavin's not out of it yet. So yes.
No, definitely not.
Well, thank you very much for joining me in the commentary booth, Steve. Thank you very much for watching. As you saw on the screen, next time out it's at Summit Point. Our Discord links are in the description. If you would like to come racing with us, please come and say hello. Thank you very much. I've been Mark. Joining me has been Steve. And we will see you next time.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers. Bye.
I'm great, thanks Mark. Yeah, it's lovely to be here at Watkins Glen. Fast flowing track, loads of places to overtake, and yeah, I think the drivers have a lot of fun here. Yeah, it's lovely to be here at Watkins Glen. Fast flowing track.